First tonight on News 3, an ongoing debate. Should Lake Mendota water levels be lowered, especially after the record flooding last month?
And a local school's pool is closed tonight. Public health confirms someone contracted a parasitic infection from the water.
And later, Democrats take the lead in the two biggest races in the election in November. The latest Marquette Law School poll numbers just ahead.
This is News 3 at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. For weeks, we've tracked flooding on the isthmus due to high water on Lake Mendota.
And this week, the Dane County Board will look into permanently lowering the water levels there. New tonight, our Keely Arthur live at the Tenney Lock on Madison's near east side with all the details here. Keely?
Well, the water here at Tenney Lock and all of Lake Mendota really was high prior to the flooding. Now, the DNR regulates the minimum and maximum levels of this lake. The county is trying to get it at the very minimum, but the county is also looking into asking the DNR to reduce that minimum to even lower as a way to permanently get these lake levels down.
We kayak, we canoe, we do stuff with the dogs with the water.
30 years living on the isthmus, Brian Anderson couldn't get closer to Lake Mendota.
We use the water. That's why we live near the water.
Until this past month.
Several feet away from the flooding. It's never been this much before.
2018's historic flooding seems to have everyone looking at Lake Mendota differently.
It seems like every year it gets just a little bit more extreme.
And thinking about what should be done to keep the water levels down.
We have to figure out a way that we're going to be able to get rid of the water faster.
We are going to be looking at the system as a whole and trying to find some answers to that.
This Thursday, exactly 1 month since the record rainfall, the Dane County Board of Supervisors will meet, discussing two things. First, how to quickly lower the current water level at 851.7 feet to 849.6 feet, the minimum allowed by the Department of Natural Resources.
All the rain that we continue to get continues to make that difficult. We've got the system wide open and we're trying to run water out of it as quickly as possible. It will take months to get down to the minimums likely.
Secondly, the board will discuss the possibility of reducing the water levels long term below the minimum currently allowed.
We need to get answers before we just say let's drop it a foot. What's the impact on the whole system of dropping a foot, and how would that help us in preventing flooding on in parts of the system? Is that the answer?
Board Chair Sharon Corrigan says it will be months before we know if it is. An advisory team will now start to look at the long-term effects of lower levels. If it looks like a good option, the DNR will ultimately be petitioned to permanently reduce the levels, which Anderson fears would change everything.
It's going to turn it into a big marsh, and it's not what people think is going to happen.
And again, this is just conjecture, lots of meetings and discussions, and ultimately an approval by the DNR, which would happen in the spring before any reduced levels happen here on Lake Mendota. Back to you.
Our Keely Arthur reporting from the Tenney Lock tonight. Keely, thank you.
The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, will conduct a preliminary damage assessment in 17 counties hit the hardest by flooding and tornadoes. Governor Walker says they will begin their assessment September 24th. In a tweet, the governor says there's more than $233 million in damage. More than $100 million of that is residential. But there is also more rain on the way. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canaldi. Gary?
Well, we had round one of the showers and thunderstorms this morning into early this afternoon. Now we're taking a little bit of a break. May see some more rain later on tonight and especially tomorrow night into Thursday morning. We have alert days in the forecast for tomorrow and Thursday. Again, the best chances for heavier showers and thunderstorms be later tomorrow night into Thursday morning. Then a warm front lifts northward. Temperatures will climb into the mid-80s on Thursday, and another round of thunderstorms late in the day or at night could bring another round of heavy rainfall, as well as the potential for some high winds and hail and some strong to severe thunderstorms. Right now, things are pretty quiet here. The showers and storms have moved down into central Illinois. A few showers north of the Twin Cities still haven't really materialized too much. We may see some showers and thunderstorms develop later on tonight, closer toward tomorrow morning. Low temperatures this morning started out in the upper 50s to the lower 60s. High temperatures temperatures, though, were pretty cool thanks to the cloud cover and showers here in Madison. We just touched 70 degrees briefly. Some areas like Juneau and Waukesha didn't even get out of the 60s. And current temperatures are now near the low temperatures of the day in the lower 60s. And dew point temperatures are just below that. So we probably see some areas of fog form overnight. By tomorrow morning, look for temperatures to drop to around 60 degrees. We'll see some shower and thunderstorm chances. Later tomorrow afternoon, look for mostly cloudy skies with a high of 74. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. New tonight, the Iowa County District Attorney has been arrested for suspicion of first offense OWI. The Iowa County Sheriff's Department says it received an OnStar emergency alert around 8:30 Sunday morning. Turned out to be a false alarm, but while on scene, officers say they noticed 59-year-old Larry Nelson was driving while impaired. The investigation was handed over to the Grant County Sheriff's Department to avoid any conflict of interest. A man who was shot by an officer during a confrontation with police is now facing felony charges. 35-year-old Scott Stein Jr. was charged with 2 counts of threatening a law enforcement officer with a dangerous weapon and disorderly conduct. At his initial appearance in court, he was given a $10,000 cash bond. The incident happened September 1st when Madison police say he pulled a knife on an officer. He was shot once in the lower abdomen and taken to the hospital.
The Sunbury High School pool is closed tonight after Dane County Public Health confirmed a parasitic infection from the water. Amy Reed joins us live from the high school to tell us how they found out. Amy?
A person who swam in the pool here at Sun Prairie High School started experiencing symptoms of cryptosporidiosis. It's an illness brought on by the parasite Cryptosporidium. Now, the health department said anyone who swam in the pool from August 22nd to today is susceptible to getting exposed, so they said to look out for the symptoms. Now, if you have that illness, you'll likely experience diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, cramping, or fever. If that sounds like you, the health department said to get it confirmed through your doctor. We talked with a parent here in Sun Prairie who takes his son swimming nearly every day. He said he doesn't hear about this kind of thing a lot, and he used to take his kids here multiple times a week.
It's a rare thing, and so I would say just trust the people managing the pools. If it becomes a chronic problem where it's happening a lot somewhere, then of course find a different facility to use.
The health department said the chance of you getting sick from this is slim because the water is passed through a UV system. Just to be safe, they're shocking the pool with high chlorine levels tonight, so the pool should reopen tomorrow around 8 in the morning. Now, we reached out to the school to ask them more about this, but they were unable to get back to us for comment. Back to you.
Amy Reed reporting live tonight. Amy, thank you.
A Reedsburg man is facing burglary and theft charges tonight. They were filed yesterday against 33-year-old Larry Smith. He is accused of stealing from a home in Loganville a year ago this month. The victim told police her mother's home had been vacant since she passed away, which was several weeks before a neighbor noticed the home had been broken into. Among the things Smith is accused of stealing, a Purple Heart, childhood letters, and more than $35,000 in jewelry and money. Smith is also believed to have been involved in other home burglaries in Reedsburg as well.
And in Portage, this man, 49-year-old Calvin Aldridge, will spend the next 9 months in jail in connection to the shooting death of his neighbor. Today in court, he pleaded guilty to 2 of 3 counts against him. A charge of second-degree reckless homicide was dropped. Aldridge is charged in the death of Victor Reynolds at the apartment building where both men lived. Records show the 2 men got into a physical altercation which led to the shooting. Members of the victim's family were in court today upset with the ruling.
My brother had a lot of demons and made a lot of mistakes in his life. But he mattered. And no one should lose their life over a stupid argument over dumb stuff and get probation.
Eldridge was also hurt in the fight. He did plead guilty to second-degree recklessly endangering safety and endangering safety by use of a dangerous weapon.
The UW system announced it is opening a new investigation against Pete Hill, the husband of UW-Whitewater Chancellor Beverly Copper. On Friday, we learned about the sexual harassment accusations against Hill. At that point, he had been banned from campus, but the investigation was closed after another allegation. The system saying today it is opening that new investigation. He had served as an associate to the chancellor since 2015. Multiple women, both former students and faculty, have come forward to say Hill sexually harassed them. The university is saying in a statement today, given the UW system's unwavering commitment to provide a safe educational work environment, we are opening a new investigation into the most recent allegations related to UW-Whitewater. Hill has already been banned from campus, as we mentioned, in all campus events, while Copper is being asked to resign.
The woman who says Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her when they were in high school is willing to testify before Congress. But tonight, her attorney said there's a catch. President Trump expressed sympathy for Kavanaugh today, who's facing the decades-old allegation from Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. The Senate Judiciary Committee has invited her to testify on Monday along with Kavanaugh. But this evening, Dr. Blasey's attorney said she wants an FBI investigation first.
The investigation should occur before the hearing. The hearing should be as a result of the investigation. It shouldn't be a substitute.
Some GOP leaders have expressed doubts about Kavanaugh's accuser. They suspect it's part of a last-ditch 11th-hour effort to derail his nomination.
This is primarily to hear her, so if she's not planning on attending, then I don't know what the point of going forward would be.
Democrats also want more time to investigate the woman's claim, and they want more witnesses, including a man named Mark Judge, who was named in the Washington Post as being present during the event in question. Judge told the committee he doesn't want to testify, claiming he has no memory of the incident.
In Wisconsin, with less than 2 months now until the November election, the Democrats have taken the lead in 2 top races, according to the latest Marquette Law School poll, which was just released today. Among voters who say they will vote in November, Democrat Tony Evers with a 5-point lead at 49% of the governor's race compared to Governor Walker's 44%. Libertarian Phil Anderson at 6%. And in the U.S. Senate race, Democratic U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin's lead growing from last month, now leading State Senator Leah Vukmir 53 to 42%. The poll's director, Charles Franklin, says a boost of Democratic enthusiasm could show why Baldwin and Evers are both ahead.
There's some national forces that at the moment look like they're pushing a little bit more in a Democratic direction than they were earlier in the summer. Trump's job approval numbers coming down is the most important of those.
In both races, the Democrats' lead has grown from the last poll last month, when Governor Walker and Tony Evers were tied. Still, about a quarter of voters say they don't know enough about the challengers, Evers and Vukmir. It is a debate that has been ongoing for years. Should college athletes be paid?
UW-Madison Chancellor Rebecca Blank is testifying in court on that very issue. An update when we come back. Welcome back. The debate rages on over paying college students. A recent report on law360.com quotes UW-Madison Chancellor Rebecca Blank saying UW may not have an athletic program if the athletes are paid.
Now, she softened that stance a bit when we reached out to her today. Her spokesperson offering this statement, quote, Chancellor Blank strongly supports Wisconsin's athletic program and quote, that there is a separate market from professional sports for amateur sports, that college athletes are students first, that paying student athletes would undermine the university community and treat student athletes differently than others. At that California trial, athletes, school officials, economists, they're all being questioned. Many have very strong opinions. Others are providing arguments for and against student athletes being paid. UW-Madison students offered their thoughts to us.
I do not think student athletes should be paid at universities because, in addition, with their scholarships, they are getting education, they are getting housing, they are getting a bunch of things that non-student athletes get.
I think it would definitely make sense since they spend so much time doing it. It's almost like they spend more time focusing on sports than they do school.
Some say it might cause a decline of strictly college sports fans. Others say it could have a positive benefit on how students perform both on the field and in classrooms. That trial, by the way, ongoing.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us now, and you have a couple of alert days.
Yeah, we still have them in for tomorrow and Thursday. That's when the best chances for some more heavy rain are in the forecast, as well as the potential for some severe weather as well. Let's go through the alert days there. I think the best chances timing-wise for heavier rain will be late tomorrow night into early Thursday morning as a warm front lifts northward. Then we'll see a break during the day on Thursday and see sunshine and temperatures in the mid-80s, almost a steamy summer-like day with brisk southerly winds. Then as a cold front approaches late in the day into Thursday night, another round of showers and thunderstorms could bring some heavy rainfall, but also the potential for some severe weather. High winds, hail, maybe even a possible tornado, depending on when the cold front comes through. Right now, it looks like the better chances for the front coming through will be later on at night, and that would limit the severe weather potential a little bit. Tonight, after the rain from this morning, we're starting to see some areas of fog form. Visibility is down to a quarter of a mile near the Wisconsin River in Boscobel, half mile in Camp Douglas, half mile up in Black River Falls. Most of the other major reporting stations reporting visibilities still in the 5 to 10 mile range. But that was after about an inch to, or anywhere from a half inch to an inch and a half of rain fell from Madison westward. East of Madison, most areas picked up less than a half inch of rain, and then far east central Wisconsin missed out on the rain altogether, but they'll get some before too long. Doppler track right now pretty quiet around here. Most of the showers and thunderstorms moved to the south into parts of central Illinois. Some thunderstorms starting to get going over western Iowa. Some showers showing up from time to time north of the Twin Cities. Eventually the computer models are pointing at this area for some more thunderstorm development later on tonight, and that could reach us later on tomorrow morning. Now, as we take a look at the severe weather outlook for tomorrow, there's a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms by late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. The better chances to the west into Minnesota and Iowa. Gusty winds and hail would be the main threats. But on Thursday, that severe weather threat ramps up a little bit. A slight risk of severe thunderstorms over much of the state of Wisconsin, as well as parts of northern Illinois, eastern Iowa, and southeastern Minnesota. Again, that's as we're in between the warm front and the cold front. Just starting to get new information in from the GFS computer model showing generally about an inch to an inch and a half of rain over southern Wisconsin, but localized amounts could exceed 2 inches in some of the heavier thunderstorms. The European computer model showing pretty much the same story, about 1 to 1.5 inches of rain, localized 2 or 3 inch amounts, the better chances perhaps back toward the Twin Cities. And our local computer model, even more aggressive, showing perhaps as much as general 1 to 3 inch amounts with some localized amounts over 4 inches, and this is all through Friday evening. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Skies are mostly cloudy. We've got a little bit of fog out there. High today 70 degrees, the low temperature 62, and right now we're at 62, but the air is calm, the humidity at 96%, and we'll see some fog form before too long. Overnight, look for areas of fog, showers, perhaps a few thunderstorms toward morning with a low of 60. For tomorrow, a high of 74 with cloudy skies and showers and a few thunderstorms. Future track, pretty quiet through much of the night tonight, and then we'll see shower and thunderstorm chances perhaps tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. The better chances tomorrow night and Thursday, and you can notice the latest computer model runs showing a lot of rain there. Then that lifts to the north. Sunshine returns, highs mid-80s on Thursday, and another round of storms by Thursday night into Friday. Again, that precipitation potential, probably 1 to 3 inches of rain with localized heavier amounts in excess of 4 inches and heavier thunderstorms. 7 to 10 day forecast does call for cooler weather after the rain ends on Friday. Look for a dry weekend, but high temperatures only upper 60s to lower 70s. A brief warm up in the Monday, Tuesday time period with some thunderstorms Tuesday, and then back to the 60s for the second half of next week.
68 on Saturday, first day of fall.
Nice, refreshing day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Packers are getting one of their difference makers back on offense this week. The story coming up in sports.
News 3.
The Brewers may not catch the Cubs for the National League Central Division title, but they're in great shape for a wild card spot. The magic number to clinch that is 9 at the start of the night as the Brewers play the Cincinnati Reds at Miller Park. Now, you don't want guys getting hurt, but Travis Shaw took a pitch in the right knee. He left the game with a bruised knee. Lorenzo Cain left the game with rib discomfort, too. Chase Anderson, the Brewers starter, he was chased in the 4th inning. Jose Peraza hit a 2-run homer off Anderson. Final score, Reds 3, Brewers 1. The Cardinals won 8-1. The Cubs are winning 7-1 in Arizona. When the Packers play at Washington Sunday, running back Aaron Jones should be back in the lineup. Jones was suspended for the first 2 games of the regular season for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. He was solid last season, rushing for almost 500 yards, averaging 5.5 yards a carry, filling in for Jamal Williams and Ty Montgomery as they were battling injuries. Jones should give the Packers a boost at running back, and wide receiver Geronimo Allison says that's going to help.
It's tough. It's tough because you put so much time into the game plan. Different things you scheme out, and then a lot of things sometimes you're out there just reacting and playing football. But when you have opportunities, like I always talk about, you have to capitalize on those opportunities and make them count.
The Badger football team is a 3.5-point favorite to beat Iowa Saturday night in Iowa City. They'll kick off just after 7:30 at Kinnick Stadium. That's usually a tough task for the visiting team. Hawkeye fans will have all day to imbibe, and they'll be making all sorts of noise. Iowa has pulled off some pretty big upsets playing night games, but the Badgers say, hey, it's going to be a blast.
It's probably going to be lit. It's going to be fun. It's going to be definitely fun. Those fans, they bring a lot of energy. They bring a lot of juice. They help us out in a lot of ways, honestly. It just makes the game fun, honestly. I mean, it's fun. It's traditional football. It's been a long journey between Wisconsin and Iowa, so it just makes it that much more exciting for me, honestly.
A couple of other Badger notes. The women's hockey team picked as co-favorites in the WCHA with Minnesota in the preseason poll, and the men's hockey team going back to the United Center in Chicago to play Notre Dame again. The Badgers will be the home team this time against the Irish January 20th for a 6:30 p.m. face-off. Badger volleyball opens the Big Ten season tomorrow night, 6 p.m. start against Ohio State at the Fieldhouse. The Badgers are ranked 6th in the nation this week, and head coach Kelly Sheffield says his young team is ready for the bright lights of the conference season.
This isn't a group that you have to pump up, you know, to make them believe in themselves. It's not something, you know, they want to know where they're at and what they've got to get better at. That's what you train all year for, is to get going in this conference.
And Friday night, our Prep Mania High School football game of the week takes us to Sun Prairie, where the Cardinals and Madison La Folla do battle. We'll have the game live on TVW and live stream it on channel3000.com Friday night at 7, and we'll be right back.
And we go back to Gary. One final check of the forecast.
Well, showers and thunderstorms in the forecast off and on for the next couple of days. Things pretty quiet out there right now. Temperatures are in the lower 60s, but might see some areas of fog overnight. Otherwise, look for highs mid-70s tomorrow, mid-80s on Thursday. Both are alert days for heavy rain and severe weather threats. But then we turn cooler as we head toward the weekend, and it dries out as the start of fall begins on Saturday. And then some thunderstorms early next week, followed by cooler weather for the end of the week.
And it will feel a bit like fall this weekend. Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Now.